Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going back to the 19th century, to a time when America was really grappling with slavery.
Yeah.
You sent us this episode of History That Doesn't Suck, and
Yeah.
it's a pretty amazing story about
It is. It really is.
the Amistad Rebellion.
It's one of those stories that you almost can't believe actually happened.
Right.
It's like a thriller.
It unfolds.
Yeah.
It unfolds like a movie. You
know.
got these Africans who were kidnapped and sold into slavery, and they rise up against their captors on a ship headed for the Americas. They seize control, but of course, that's not the end of the story. That's just the beginning of the story. So we're going to dive deep into not only the rebellion itself, but the legal battles that came after, the human drama, and the impact this event had on the growing abolitionist movement.
You know, one of the things that always gets me about this story is just the sheer brutality of the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
Even after it was illegal, you know, smugglers could make like 180% profit on each voyage.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a stark reminder of just how powerful those economic forces were, even when, they flew in the face of basic human decency.
Absolutely.
But let's start at the beginning. In the Mende region of West Africa, and introduce some of the people that we're going to be hearing about, like Sinke,
Kimbo,
Gabatu.
Yeah.
And
you know what I thought was so interesting about this is that the podcast really highlights the diverse backgrounds of these individuals.
Well,
you know, Kimbo and Gabatu, for example, came from like relatively wealthy families.
Yeah.
And were caught in the crossfire of like tribal conflicts and raids. So it kind of shatters this misconception that all Africans involved in the slave trade were from impoverished backgrounds.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Yeah. And Sinke, who emerges as the leader of the rebellion.
Yeah.
It's a rice planter, had a wife, had children.
But a whole life.
Whole life ripped away.
Just ripped away.
Can you imagine? I mean, being ripped from your family, shackled, forced onto a ship with no idea where you're going.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
Following.
And just the idea that, anyone could become a victim of this system.
Yeah.
It tore apart families, communities, societies.
And this episode really paints a vivid picture of the horrific conditions they endured during what's called the Middle Passage.
They were
crammed into the slavehold of the Tesora.
Right.
And they faced unimaginable suffering. I mean, the podcast mentions how they were confined to spaces so small they would barely even move.
Right, and disease running rampant.
Yeah.
Constant threat of death, whether it's from illness or abuse.
Suffocation.
Just awful.
There's one incident that is particularly chilling, where the crew, fearing they were going to be caught by the British Navy, hid the captives in a cave.
A cave with no air.
Earless cave.
Yeah.
Several people
died.
Suffocated before they could. Let them out.
It really speaks to the callousness of the slave traders.
Yeah.
They saw these human beings as nothing more than cargo. Expendable.
Yeah. Which makes the fact that they rebelled even more remarkable. I mean, how did they do it?
Right.
I mean, they were so
weakened and demoralized.
Yeah.
So it all started with a lie.
Okay.
The cook, Celestino, fearing for his own life, tried to scare Sink into obedience by telling him this terrifying tale. He claimed that the white men were cannibals and that they planned to eat the captives.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
He thought that fear would keep them in line.
It had the opposite effect.
Backfired.
Big time.
Wow.
Sink was already kind of showing these signs of leadership. You know, he saw through the lie, and instead of cowering, he used it to fuel his determination to resist. So he finds a nail on deck, and he manages to pick the lock on his chains.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he gets himself free?
He gets himself free.
And
then, under the cover of a stormy night, he and a handful of others make their move.
Oh, wow. What a gamble.
It was a desperate gamble, armed with nothing but farming tools and sheer willpower.
Wow.
The episode describes the chaos, the violence, the clash of metal, the cries of both the captives and the crew.
I can only imagine.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
They killed Celestino, and in a fierce confrontation, Sink himself delivers the fatal blow to the captain.
Wow.
Yeah. And they even take the captain's head as a trophy. It was a practice rooted in West African war customs.
Yeah. It's something that we might shy away from talking about. But
it's important to understand the cultural context.
Absolutely. This wasn't just a fight for survival. This was about reclaiming their power and their identity in a world that had stripped them of both.
So they've taken over the ship. They're not sailors.
Right.
What happens next?
They forced the surviving crew members, Pepe and Pedro, to help them navigate back to Africa.
But Pedro is cunning, deceitful.
Oh, no.
And pretends to comply while secretly steering them off course.
So during the day, they're sailing toward freedom.
Right.
But at night, they're being tricked back toward captivity.
Exactly. All the while dealing with dwindling supplies.
Yeah.
Mistrust. Fear.
The constant fear of recapture.
Yeah.
So how did they end up in America?
Well, after weeks of this tense standoff, Pedro sees an opportunity.
Okay.
So he tells them a half-truth.
Okay.
That they are near a free country where there are no slaves. He's referring to the United States.
Of course.
Of course.
But that's not entirely true.
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, slavery was still legal in many parts of the U.S. at that time.
Absolutely. And this is where the real drama begins.
Oh, boy.
They land in New York, near Long Island.
Okay.
Which was indeed a free state.
Yeah.
But their joy is short-lived.
Okay.
Some American captains see the Amistad and its cargo.
Yeah.
And they see dollar signs. Right. They tried to trick the Africans into giving them the ship.
Wow.
It's just a stark reminder that even in a so-called free country, the lure of profit often overshadowed any sense of justice or compassion.
Yeah.
But the Africans weren't easily fooled. They resisted these attempts to exploit them.
Okay. But then the U.S. Navy gets involved.
The U.S. Navy, the USS Washington intercepts the Amistad.
Okay.
Lieutenant Richard Meade boards the ship.
Uh-oh.
And Pepe and Pedro sees this opportunity.
Uh-oh. I don't like where this is going.
They spin a tale of mutiny and piracy, claiming the Africans as their property.
And the Navy believes them.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, wow.
They arrest the Africans. They tow the Amistad to Connecticut, a state where slavery was still legal.
So what happens to them once they get to Connecticut? This sounds like things are about to take a very dark turn.
It does. Their fate now rests in the hands of the American legal system, and they are about to become the center of a case that will shake the nation and ignite the debate over slavery like never before.
So now the Amistad Africans, they're imprisoned in Connecticut, facing charges of piracy and murder for just trying to be free. But as we learned from this History That Doesn't Suck episode, this is where things really start to get interesting.
This is where we see the power of grassroots activism. The abolitionist movement, which was already gaining some steam, they really rally to their defense.
Right.
They form this group called the Amistad Committee. And it's really, I mean, it's kind of amazing how quickly they mobilized.
Yeah. I mean, think about the challenges they faced.
I know.
In a society where slavery was still so deeply ingrained.
Totally.
I mean, they were going up against a legal system that was designed to uphold the very institution they were fighting against.
Yeah, and they were up against some powerful forces. I mean, you've got the surviving slave owners, you've got that Navy lieutenant who captured the ship, you've even got the Spanish government, all vying for control of these people.
The episode really digs into all the legal complexities of this case.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. All these different parties claiming ownership of these human beings.
It really exposes the absurdity of treating human beings as property, doesn't it?
Absolutely. This case really forced America to confront its own hypocrisy.
Totally.
I mean, here was a nation founded on principles of liberty and equality.
Right.
But its laws were being used to justify the enslavement of innocent people.
Totally.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So the Amistad Committee, they were really instrumental in bringing this case to court.
Oh, yeah.
They secured translators, including a man named James Covey, who had himself been enslaved and later freed.
Yeah.
They understood the cultural and linguistic barriers these Africans faced, and they fought so hard to make sure that their voices were heard.
Yeah. They hired some of the best legal minds at the time, including this guy, Roger Baldwin.
Roger Baldwin.
This really skilled and passionate lawyer who, you know, recognized the injustice of the situation.
The episode highlights how important James Covey's testimony was. He was able to confirm that the captives were from the Mende region of Africa, a place that was known for its resistance to the slave trade.
Yeah, his firsthand knowledge really helped to discredit the claims of those slave traders.
Yeah.
His testimony was huge because it proved that these individuals were illegally transported.
Right.
It challenged the entire system.
The legitimacy.
Yeah, the legitimacy. The transatlantic slave trade, it exposed it for what it truly was: kidnapping, exploitation, brutal.
And then we have Sink's own testimony.
Mm.
The episode describes how he, despite his limited English, he was able to tell his story.
Yeah.
His capture, the brutality of the Middle Passage, the fight for freedom.
His words really humanized the entire ordeal.
Yeah.
He was speaking not just for himself, but for countless others who had suffered under slavery.
Yeah, it went beyond legal arguments.
Absolutely. It touched the hearts of everyone in that courtroom.
The episode even mentions that some of the judges, who were themselves slave owners, were visibly moved
I know.
by his story. It just shows that even within a system designed to uphold slavery, there were people who were grappling with, the morality of it all.
Yeah.
So the court ruled in favor of the Amistad Africans.
Yes.
Declaring them free, men and women. What a victory.
What a victory. A testament to the work of the Amistad Committee.
Absolutely.
The power of human resilience.
Yeah, it wasn't over yet, was it?
No, not by a long shot.
President Van Buren, facing pressure from Spain and Southern pro-slavery factions, he appeals the case to the Supreme Court.
Oh, boy.
So the fate of these 36 individuals now rests in the hands of the highest court in the land.
Talk about a nail-biter.
I know.
And this is where John Quincy Adams comes in.
John Quincy Adams, former president.
Yeah. Fierce abolitionist.
Yeah.
Brought in to argue the case before the Supreme Court.
What a moment. What role did he play in all of this?
Well, Adams was a brilliant legal mind, a skilled orator. He understood the political landscape, and he knew that he couldn't just rely on moral arguments.
Right. He needed a legal strategy to dismantle the opposition's claims.
Exactly, and he delivered masterfully.
Wow.
He spoke for over 7 hours.
7 hours.
7 hours, meticulously going through the arguments for sending the Amistad Africans back to Cuba.
I can only imagine the tension in that courtroom.
Oh, yeah. He argued that these people weren't pirates. They were victims of kidnapping and illegal enslavement.
Right.
And he pointed to the Treaty of Madrid, a treaty between Spain and Great Britain that outlawed the slave trade.
So he's using international law to bolster his case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said returning these individuals to Cuba would violate not only American law, but international agreements as well.
Yeah.
And, perhaps most importantly, he appealed to the very principles upon which the United States was founded.
Right.
Freedom, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Powerful stuff. Those arguments, they must have resonated with the court.
They did, in a landmark decision.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Amistad Africans, granting them their freedom, once and for all.
Wow. What a moment.
A monumental victory, a testament to perseverance, and that unwavering belief in justice.
I mean, it's amazing to think that these enslaved Africans, they were facing such overwhelming odds, and yet they achieved this monumental victory in the highest court in the land.
But as we've been hearing, their journey wasn't over.
Yeah.
Not by a long shot.
This is where that History That Doesn't Suck episode really gets you. I mean, it shines a light on the emotional and psychological toll of this whole ordeal. I mean, they had endured years of captivity, suffering, the loss of their families, their home, and even though a court granted them their freedom, it did exactly, give them a ticket back to Africa.
Right. They were free, but they were stranded in a foreign land.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the uncertainty? I mean, the anxiety they must have felt. I mean, they had fought so hard for their freedom, and now what?
Right. Where do they go from here?
So how did they finally make it home? Well, the Amistad Committee. They didn't give up. I mean, bless their hearts.
They didn't abandon them.
No, they organized all these fundraising events. They leveraged all that public sympathy and support that had grown during the trials. They knew that true justice meant not just, legal freedom.
Right.
It meant getting them home.
Yeah. The episode mentions that the Amistad Africans, they actually participated in these efforts. They went on speaking tours to share their stories, to raise money for their voyage.
Yeah, it shows their resilience, their determination to reclaim their lives. They were using their freedom to advocate not just for themselves, but for the cause of abolition.
Powerful.
Inspiring others to join the fight.
So finally, after years of struggle, they set sail.
Yeah.
Back to Sierra Leone. What a moment.
The episode describes their arrival in Freetown, the capital, crowds of people cheering, welcoming them back. It's a moment of, joy, sorrow. 36 of them made it back, but they returned to a world that had been completely changed by their absence.
Yeah. Some were reunited with family, but
others.
Face the heartbreaking reality that they had lost everything.
It's just a reminder that the scars of slavery, they run deep, even for those who escape.
The trauma, the loss, the broken families, the shattered communities. I mean,
those wounds take generations to heal.
So we've been on this journey with the Amistad Africans, and we've seen the horrors of the slave trade, the courage of those who rebelled, the legal battles that captivated a nation, the bittersweet homecoming. I mean, what are some of the key takeaways here? What should we be reflecting on?
I think one of the most important things to remember is that the fight for justice and equality, it never really ends, the Amistad case. It exposed the contradictions at the heart of America.
And nation.
Yeah.
Founded on freedom, but still grappling with the reality of slavery.
Absolutely. And it ignited a debate that would ultimately lead to the Civil War and the abolition of slavery. But even though slavery is over, the struggle for equality continues. In different forms, this story, it reminds us that we have to stay vigilant. Challenge systems of oppression wherever we see them.
It also highlights the power of individual action. I mean, this group of ordinary people, they came together with a common purpose, and they achieved something extraordinary.
And it shows how important it is to understand history.
Yes.
Not just as a collection of facts and dates, but as a living narrative that shapes our present.
Yeah. The Amistad Rebellion, it's a story that I think still resonates today. It's a story about fighting for a more just and equitable world for everyone. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend checking out that full History That Doesn't Suck episode. It's a powerful, moving story. And remember history. It's not just something we read about in books.
Right.
It's a story that we're all a part of. And it's up to us to shape the next chapter.